Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is the video I've been looking forward to making all year. This is my best of 2022. This will be in 3 parts, and this is part 1, as you can tell, based on the order of this video coming out. I was going through my list of the best albums of 2022, and I realized that half of the new albums that I listened to this year were essentially cover albums. So I thought, why not separate the two and have, original material in my cumulative best of 2022 list, and then separate the covers, because I don't think it's really fair to call a covers album the best album of the year when it's not new material, as it were. So with that being said, let me jump right into it. These are my top 10 favorite cover albums of 2022. Number 10, and I know my buddy Rod, the Happy Hippie, will be happy with this. This is Jerry Jeff, the tribute album by Steve Earle, Americana singer-songwriter. This was out on New West Records. And this is Steve Earle covering Jerry Jeff Walker, as the title alludes. So you've got songs like Getting By, Gypsy Songman, Little Bird, Makes Money, Money Don't Make Me, Mr. Bojangles, his biggest hit, Hill Country Rain, Charlie Dunn, My Old Man, Wheel, and then Old Road, which I believe is the lone original on the record. And yeah, it's just, classic Americana. Steve Earle's got that gritty voice as he ages, which I love. He's backed by his longtime band, The Dukes, and just a killer Americana album. And I will say some of these albums do have an original or two, but as a whole, they're essentially a covers album. So I'll just keep that out there. Number 9, this is the compilation tribute album by Jim Records. This is Jim Records Celebrates Pete Townsend. Now, if you don't know Jim Records, please go check out my buddy Matthew Street's channel. He can give all sorts of history on Jim Records. And essentially, it's a label that has that used to exist, and then kind of vanished for a little bit, and then came back, and is actually a modern day record label. They sign artists that are in the power pop, 60s rock vein, but they're modern new groups or artists. And the past 3 years, they've put out a tribute album to an artist that they respect. So the first year was John Lennon, last year was Brian Wilson, and this year is Pete Townsend. Really cool stuff. You've got Bob O'Reilly, I'm Free, Let My Love Open the Door, The Seeker, Glow Girl, I Can't Explain, Kids Are Alright, all sorts of songs, and they're done in different arrangements, but also staying true to the original. Just a fantastic power pop record. Randy Nelson, you need to get this. Number 8, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Dirt Does Dylan. This is their first album in quite a few years. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, of course, country bluegrass band, started in the late 60s. You have original member Jeff Hanna and Jimmy Fadden, as well as longtime member Bob Carpenter. You have Jeff Hanna's son, Jamie, I believe is his name, and then a couple other members whose names escape me at the moment. But it's essentially, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band doing Bob Dylan, and the other two members, excuse me, are Ross Holmes and Jim Fotoglo. It's the Dirt Band in their style. So you've got harmonica, you've got multi-instrumental parts. You have more of Dylan's country songs on here. Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, Girl from the North Country, Takes a Lot to Life, Takes a Train to Cry, Country Pie, I Shall Be Released, which has Larkin Poe on it, Gary. She Belongs to Me, Forever Young, Times They Are Changing, which was released as a single last year. And that one's got all sorts of people on it. Roseanne Cash, Steve Earle, Jason Isbell, The War and Treaty. Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and then Quinn the Eskimo. So really great Americana tribute to Bob Dylan. I love it. Number 7, Glenn Kellaway, you need to get this. Punch Brothers, Hell on Church Street. Punch Brothers, of course, kind of a neo bluegrass band. Chris Thile there is the main man. who plays mandolin. He's an extraordinaire on the mandolin. And you have Noam um, Pilkney. I'm sorry. Chris Eldridge, Paul Coert, and Gabe Witcher on that are the other members of the band. Essentially, this is as they say, a regrouping of the Church Street Blues by Tony Rice. This is essentially them reimagining that album that Tony Rice did. It was Tony Rice's probably his biggest selling album. So you've got songs: Church Street Blues, Cattle in the Cane, Streets of London, One More Night, the Bob Dylan song, The Gold Rush, Any Old Time, Orphan Annie, House Carpenter, which is beautiful, Jerusalem Ridge, Last Thing on My Mind, Pride of Man, and then Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the Gordon Lightfoot song. Highly, highly, highly recommend this album. It is fantastic. It's great. It's great music to put on while you're having a nice meal, and it's very contemplative. I highly recommend it. Hell on Church Street, the Punch Brothers. Number 6, this is Melt Away by She and Him. She and Him are M. Ward and Zooey Deschanel, the actress, and this is their tribute to Brian Wilson. So they essentially got together during COVID and wrote a bunch of songs out that they love for Brian Wilson, whether they were hits, whether they were deep cuts, and they decided to put out a record, which I also have on vinyl, but I'm showing the CD because it's easier. So you've got, Darling, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Till I Die, Deirdre, Melt Away, Good to My Baby, Don't Talk, Don't Worry Baby, This Whole World, Kiss Me Baby, Do It Again, which features vocals by Brian Wilson, Heads You Win, Tails I Lose, which is the weakest track on the album, Please Let Me Wonder, and then Meant for You. So really, really cool. Very, it definitely nods the 60s style, but also stays very modern. Zooey Deschanel has a great voice, very unique, very summery. Check it out. All right, top 5. Number 5. This is the album probably that's been getting the most crap from any album that came out this year. This is Only the Strong Survive by Bruce Springsteen. I absolutely love this album. It's Bruce doing soul and Motown classics. You've all seen videos. Sorry that the camera's not focusing there. But he does, I've talked about this album already. Only the Strong Survive. He does a couple of songs with Sam Moore from Sam and Dave. I Wish It Would Rain, Hey Western Union Man, 7 Rooms of Gloom, Someday We'll Be Together. Do I Love You? Indeed I Do. Night Shift. Just really, really great. It's Bruce with a full band, full horn section, but it's not the E Streets. But a solid effort from a man who's in his early 70s. Killer, killer voice on it. I really, really enjoy it. Number 4, this is a gospel album by Brent Cobb, who is a outlaw country singer. His cousin is Dave Cobb, the producer, who produced this record. This is a very short album, 9 songs, and the last song is only like a minute and a half. This album also has just one original on it, but it's essentially Brent Cobb singing old songs from the hymn book when he was a kid. So the title alludes to the fact when, the preacher would say, and now let's turn the page, whatever in the hymn book. So you've got Just a Closer Walk with Thee, When It's My Time, which is the original, In the Garden, Are You Washed in the Blood, which is a rocking version of that song, Softly and Tenderly, Old Rugged Cross, We Shall Rise, Old Country Church, and then Blessed Be the Tie That Binds. Really, really good stuff. Highly recommend it. Craig at A to Z Music, you will love this. All right, number 3. This is Something Borrowed, Something New, a tribute to John Anderson. Love this album. This was put out by Easy Eye Sound, which is Dan Auerbach's label, Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. You've got all sorts of folks on here doing the songs of John Anderson, who's not dead, but his latest album was on Easy Eye, so I'm guessing Dave Auerbach wanted to give a tribute to him while he was alive. So you've got one of the last John Prine performances called 1959. You have Sierra Farrell doing Years, Brent Cobb, who I just mentioned, doing Wild and Blue, Nathaniel Rateliff, Eric Church, Jillian Welsh with David Rawlings, Tyler Childers, Luke Combs, Sturgill Simpson, Brothers Osborne, Del McCurry with Sierra Hull, Ashley McBride, and then Jamie Johnson doing I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal. And this was all recorded or produced in Nashville at Easy Eye Sound. Really, really good stuff. Really great outlaw country singers. A few clunkers. Eric Church needs to hit the road on this album. He's not needed on here at all. But other than that, pretty solid effort. And for a while, I was in the running for my album of the year until I decided to switch up the format here. All right, folks, number 2 for me for best cover albums. That's right, Backstreet Boys, A Very Backstreet Christmas. I have absolutely fallen in love with this album. Say what you will, I don't care. This is my pleasure. I'm not guilty about it. I love the boy band sound from the 90s. And I love this album so much that I had bought the standard version and then saw that Target had a deluxe edition, which this is, had 2 extra songs, so I gave my other copy away. So I wanted more of the Backstreet Boys, and I got it with the Target exclusive. So you've got originals on here on the actual album, Christmas in New York, Together, and then Happy Days, which are fantastic tracks. And then they have the 2 additional songs, Feliz Navidad, and then a song from 2012 called It's Christmas Time Again, which is also an original, but not on the original track listing. They also do White Christmas, The Christmas Song, Winter Wonderland. They do a wonderful version of Same Old Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg. I really, really like this album. It's a feel-good album. Great tight harmonies, great pop, and I will swear up and down for this album. I will defend it to the grave. I love the Backstreet Boys. That's why I said it. And number 1, best cover album of 2022, Mark Tremonti sings Sinatra. Now, those of you all that don't know my channel, I did a review on this album. Mark Tremonti is a guitarist from the band Creed, and he decided to put out a album that went to charity, the Take a Chance charity, and it's essentially him doing Sinatra music. It's unbelievable. The guy croons like Sinatra. He's even playing with some of the guys that played with Sinatra on the orchestra. I mean, he's full out crooning. And if you look at him, he's some guy with, piercings, tattoos all up and down, the cool, goatee, very, very, very hard rock looking guy. And he's crooning, and it's awesome. He's got, I've got you under my skin. I've got the world on a string. If I fall in love too easily. Fly Me to the Moon, My Way, You Make Me Feel So Young, and then just a bunch of songs. And I can't say enough good things. The production is wonderful. It sounds like it's produced like a Sinatra album, and I absolutely love this record. And that's why it's the number 1 best cover album of 2022. So there you go, folks. That is my list. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I out of line? All that good stuff. I've got 2 more of these videos coming. I'll probably film them right now. In the meantime, y'all be good. Please subscribe. Take care. And I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye now.